Hi, in this video I'm going to show you how you can apply liquid concealer with your fingers where you don't need a brush. Now it doesn't matter if you're going to apply the concealer later on bare skin or you're using a tinted moisturizer, BB cream or foundation beforehand. What's really important is that you're going to start off the right way with a good moisturizer that will help you to smoothen the texture and your skin so that you're getting rid of any unevenness and also dry patches. Such as currently I have a pretty dry skin around my cheek area as well as also chin area, and if I would apply the concealer right away on those areas, it will look dry. Some dry patches are going to be visible, and this is what we are trying to avoid. So I can't stress it enough. Use a good moisturizer before you're using any makeup products on top. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use a suitable moisturizer and then gently apply it all over the face. And also especially massaging into the skin where I have most of my dryness going on, so that this is going to be smoother, so that the texture is even and that the makeup application will be much easier. Especially also if you have a few blemishes or breakouts that are still a little bit dry, which you want to really make soft so that the concealer later on will layer beautifully on top. So, and once you have applied the moisturizer, we are now ready to go into the concealer. Now don't forget, if you want to use a base product beforehand, you can do so, but the way on how you're going to apply the concealer is basically the same. So make sure that you're choosing the right shade depending on where you want to use the concealer and also what effect you want to get. I'm going to go in with this liquid concealer, and especially also if you have a few blemishes going on and you want to keep it really clean, make sure that you have a clean hands, that you have washed your hands beforehand also with the moisturizer. And also, instead of going in with the doe foot applicator directly onto your face, I would recommend using it also a bit on the back of your hand, and then from there on take it onto your skin so that you don't have to bring the bacteria that you have on your face back into the tube, because this is not really hygienic, especially if you're suffering also from acne. So I have a little bit on the back of my hand, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one side of my face so that you can see the difference. If you want to use a brightening concealer, go 1 to 2 shades lighter and use it only under the eyes. But if you want to use a skin tone concealer, this is a concealer that you can use all over your face. Just make sure that it's blending in with your natural skin tone or your base product that you just have used. So I'm going to use it just a tiny bit on my finger, and I'm going to start off with the breakout. So I have a tiny bit on my finger, and I'm going to start off with patting it on. Now you have 5 fingers, so what you can do is, I've just used this one to add a bit of product. Now I'm going to use a clean finger to blend it into the skin. And so because I have used a moisturizer beforehand and really use it on those areas as well as where I'm suffering from a lot of dryness, it just makes it look smoother and it won't show off any dry patches. And if I want to add more, I'm going back in with the finger that has the product on. I'm going to use the clean finger to blend it in. Now make sure that you're also smoothing out the edges so that it really has a smoother finish and that it also blends in with your skin tone. Now for under the eyes, still going to use a bit of product, and I'm going to focus it towards the inner corner of my eye, for example, because this is where I have a bit of discoloration. But you can also use it then later on to smooth it out for the whole under eye area. Just make sure that you're starting off with a little bit so that you have more control on how you're going to blend it into the skin. Now I'm going to use the finger that has the product on. And now I'm going to use the clean finger again to pat it into the skin. Now what's really important is that you're making sure that you're finding the right shade that also is suitable for your skin tone and also for the base product that you're going to use. Otherwise you will notice the difference in color and then it won't look as natural anymore. It just looks like you've picked the wrong shade, and that's not what we want. We really want to have a smooth finish later on. So I'm just going to add a bit more and pat it under the eyes. Now, one thing that's also really important is that it depends on what concealer you're going to choose, and this also depends on your skin type. If you have a really dry skin, you can find hydrating liquid concealers and also in general liquid concealers that are not so drying. If you have an oily skin and you want to keep it also a little bit matter, you want to have a drying effect, then go in with a little bit more of thicker and matte concealers. You will notice a difference if you are in the store or you have a concealer at home and you want to see how it's going to perform. Just take a bit on the back of your hand and work it into the skin, and this is how you will notice how the texture is going to be, if it's a little bit more of a drying concealer or if it's a little bit more of a dewier hydrating concealer. So depending on your skin type and your needs that you personally wanted to achieve, you are going to choose either a mattifying concealer or also a hydrating concealer. Now, of course, depends also on your skin type. You need to set the concealer. Now, for me, since you've just seen that I have such a dry skin, there's no need that I'm going to set it. This concealer also kind of dries already on its own, but it's not like, this one doesn't have an amazing drying effect. It just sets itself, which is great. But if you really want to make sure that you're going to set the concealer, you can go in with a loose powder or pressed powder. And this is basically where you would need to use a brush, just because it's kind of difficult to press in the product with your finger because you want to keep it dry instead of making it like into a creamy mixture. So this is where you would need a brush. But this can be in any size. This can also be in any whatever hairs. Just use a bit of it and use it on those areas where you have already applied the concealer. Now I'm just going to demonstrate it, but if you have a really dry skin, there's no need to set it. And then this way you can secure the concealer, but you also have applied it with your finger. Now here you can see now the difference on how you can use it also with your finger. I've just used it under the eyes to show you the effect, as well as also on a blemish. And on the other side I used nothing. So it makes a huge difference, and it also works beautifully if you're just going to use your finger. Now, this is basically what I wanted to share with you in this little tutorial. I do hope that you find this one useful. And if you like this video, don't forget to give the thumbs up and share it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Bye!